In this video tutorial, we will be learning how to do information design. And we will be certainly looking some very good examples in this video. The purpose of information design is basically the clarity of communication between two users or multiple users. So the people who are data analysts or business analysts or even data scientists who does some data visualization in their day in day out reports either on any platform, that would be Excel, Power BI, Tableau, or Qlik. So definitely when the information comes in and when you transform and create some data visuals, we cannot ignore information design component. And then we move forward towards the dashboard reporting. And in my previous videos, I have also quoted that before the dashboard reporting, we have a concept of infographics. All right. So as we proceed through the data analysis towards the data visualization, we also need to have, you also need to take care of information design area as well, which is probably an infographic area. And we move forward the dashboard reporting by applying some rules. So we can say that we are doing the exploratory analysis towards the explanatory analysis. The information designs, the information design plays a very important role. So the question number one, if I ask you that, which letter has the highest value, your eyes and brain would definitely configure within some few seconds that probably some of you will give answer A, or might be some of you will possibly give answer D, right? From this particular visual at a first glance, but there is a confusion still. So how we can correct that? So we can add a data labels, and adding a data labels will verify that the product D, which is 4.5, is the highest one in this particular visualization, right? Another technique would be that we can highlight the maximum bar with a different color so that our brain could function very quickly within some seconds. And then we can take the decision, right? Which letter has the highest value? So now this time we do not have any visual but the text on the screens. Now what happens? Your eyes were definitely watching this and your brain is trying to read this information. So probably after reading all the alphabets and values, you will conclude that product D, which is 4.5, is the highest one. So it is a conflict between a reading and a scanning. Why we are considering data visualization and infographics towards the dashboard reporting part and infographics design concepts? Because once we see the data on the screen, we read the data, not we scan the data. So visualization promptly help us to scan that objects quickly and to make the decisions. So this is a perfect example. So scanning is the fast, and that's why it is very important for the dashboard reporting. Next is, what time is it? So you can see the time, you can tell the time, right? Very simple. But if I ask you, what time is it in this particular wristwatch? It is very complex to see. So what is happening here is both are telling their time, and what happens in the organization internally. Sometimes people find solution in a simplified way, and sometimes they do a lot of complexity by applying all the things all in together. And in terms of cost, organization can implement or integrate some good solutions with simplicity rather than going too complex. So it is better to stay simple and elegant with the ideas and implementation regarding your dashboard reports and the tools which you use rather than making it complex. Okay. Again, you can read the text on the screen, which is, I love Excel, but it is very much fancy in our eyes and brains are focusing on design rather than text, right? So it is too much design. We can make it simplified so that we can read faster and the message could communicate easily, right? So it again simple versus complex. Now there is a grade which asks you about how many fives are there. So you have to read every number one by one, and you have to count and you have to identify how many fives are there. So every person will count it probably in some of the quick count, or someone will make it very slow because we don't have any design. Here we have the information but missing the design. So the first very simple technique is to, if you are finding something, make it very different by applying a bold to it. Another question, how many lines are there? Again, you have to do that simple practice. So what the technique is, we can do highlighting to some important information in order to capture the attention quickly and to make some decision making. Another one more time. There is a grid and it says that how many fours are there. Again, you have to count it manually, which takes a lot of time. But we have another technique which is size. So we can increase certain area size. I mean, we can focus very easily. Now, look and say the color, not the word. So you have a different colors. Words are available on the screen, right? But you have to say the color, not the word. And what happens? I mean, your speed will get a bit slow because if I tell you that this is yellow, so you don't need to say the word. You need to say the green instead of yellow, right? So I mean, there is a left and right brain conflict here. So your right brain is trying to say the color, whereas your left brain insist on reading the word, right? And you can do the same activity in your local language, which you say. So now you can look and see the color, not the word again. But now, not in English. You can do it in Hindi or any other language in which you live, but not in English. So again, it will be a conflict of left and right brain, right? Which region have the highest value? Now we have four regions: East, West, North, and South. We have months from month 1 to month 18. So, I mean, when you look at this particular chart, it again makes a very bitter confusion how you decide that which region has the highest value, right? So, again, splitting four regions into four different charts would be a better one. Or you can create a line chart or any other better visualization, okay? Next, how many months have better values? So again, we have a column chart and a line chart which tells from month till 12, and by scanning this object, your brain will technically see the highest volume, which is maths 4 and 8 right here as well, in the line chart as well. But the context is basically missing. I mean, it could be like above average or below average, but what we are trying to achieve. So if we add the average line now, before that, before adding the average line, we have just months 4 and months 8 as the highest and the better values. But after adding the average, now we have more months have been added. So I mean, just adding the context to it, I mean that entirely changes your perception and decision as well. And more eventually, now, we are seeing the transformation for the dashboard reporting, especially a component called data storytelling, where you can create this kind of intuitive visuals, right? Which color we can use to say stop. So definitely, when I ask you this question, your brain will visualize the red color, not the text inside your brain, right? Similarly, visualizations are very important. Question number 13. Is it a good sale? So let me show you a sale which is of almost 1.19 million, right? So if I ask you, is it a good sale or a bad sale, you can't take the decision, right? Its context is entirely missing. So we can say that, okay, it is a sale for an accounting software this month. Sale is 1.19 million. And we have at last 36 trends as well. So now we can understand the relativity of this particular sales number, right? So adding the context is important. Furthermore, for your own learning, you can go to sqlbi.com where you can find an article on 15 dashboard design. rules where you can apply this rule and make your dashboard reports very much professional. Thank you.